I totally just ate that whole video I filmed, so we're gonna film it all over again. This is a new vampire idea I had. It's gonna be called not shady vampires, but shadow vampires. Or vampire darkness, or dark vampires. I don't know, but those are way better than what I said. I don't know why I messed up the title like 3 times, but here we go. The idea is vampires absorb energy from shade so that they can live in the daytime and not attack humans. They can quench their thirst entirely for blood and human stuff just by standing in a shadow of a tree, a foam pole, anything. If it puts off shade, all they have to do is stay down for a minute there, stand in it, and their bodies absorb it. And then they can walk in the sun until they need to refuel in the shade again. That's the gist of it. Brilliant, no? I think it's absolutely brilliant. Then as I was walking to the store yesterday, or riding my bike, I got another idea for a scene. So I wanted to give dialogue, and I did it, but it was kind of stupid. So I'm going to do it again and try and not be so shitty about it. Okay, so there are 2, a vampire and a human. Male, female. Just for the sake of it, male vampire, female human. They're looking at the sunset. She asks the vampire, I didn't think vampires like human. Or not human. Ugh, see, I'm already messing up again, but I'm going to go with it because I'm not doing this again. Okay. She asks him, the vampire, I didn't think vampires liked sunsets. Why do you? And he was like, to her, the human, I wasn't always a vampire, you know. I was born human. And she was like, you're messing with me. I thought all vampires were... Yeah, I thought all were natural. They're alive today. You were turned? And he is like, yeah, I was turned centuries ago, actually. I was not born a vampire, though. And I liked sunsets. And since we've evolved now that we can, you know, shade absorb the power and everything, I like watching the sunsets, so I spend most of the day inside, getting enough energy from the shade that I can watch sunsets, because I love them. And she's like falling in love with him or something, I guess. And that's roughly how the scene would be. They're watching a sunset and she's shocked that this vampire loves it. But he hasn't always been a vampire. And that's rare. As I'm going to build the character, it's going to be rare that any vampire likes anything to do with the sun out of anything other than necessity to live amongst humans and not be hiding in the shadows. But they still have to because they need the shadows to live. But they are okay to be in the sun. They're not going to shrivel up and die and burn, but they will start craving human blood if they stay in the sun too long. That's my idea. That's why I think it'd be good book material, but I also think it'd be good for shows, because shows have done crap over the years. Being Human, I mentioned, was pretty good, but Vampire Diaries and crap, that's all just garbage. Teen Wolf, all that crap with vampires, it's all crap. This would be a good revolutionary way to reintroduce vampires into a new generation, because I think that even old generations would love it, because it's so different. And if you think about it, no one's ever really explained why vampires can't go in the sun. Nosferatu was the silent era of the 20s or the 1919, I think. And so that's the 19 teens. No one's really ever explained. I've never done research, and I've never been explained to in a movie before, or a TV show, or any book that I've ever read. I bet you can't even find on Google why vampires and sun don't mix. You know? So I think that when I wrote Blood Rain in 2009, 2010, and then gave up, because I wrote like 50 pages of it, and I just was like, next idea. I tend to do that when I write stuff, but I probably wrote 1,000 scripts. Oops. none for TV yet. But yeah, it's just like that. Where that's another great idea for a vampire show. And, I had it scripted up, and I just could never find anyone to write it the way a script should be wrote. And no one wanted to read it because they didn't like their voice. I don't like my voice either, so I never did it. But the idea was criminals that break the laws of what is now, like, I think 2017. That's how long ago I wrote it. That it should be taking place now. In the book, it's 2017, 2018, and here it is 2018. But the criminals get turned into a machine that they get fed into a machine every month, once a month, that turns into a blood rain that the vampires can feast on. And that's how they solve living with humans. Because they don't need shade like the other vampire idea that I have. And I think it's cool. So those are my ideas, or my idea for revolutionizing and reintroducing vampires to the world. They could be a very cool idea. Let's see who steals this idea, because I've had it in Notebook for a decade. And now I have it on YouTube and on my hard drive. And I did it right this time. Let's see if I did it in less than 9.5 minutes, right? See you next time. Bye-bye.